Dave Leisering, Director of Athletic Communications here at Mercyhurst University, with our weekly insider with head men's hockey coach Rick Gotkin of the Mercyhurst Lakers. Rick, another positive weekend. Pick up your first sweep of the season, knocking off Army here at the Ice Center twice in a row.
Yeah, you know what, Dave? Obviously, it was a real exciting weekend. You know, whenever Army comes to town, there's always that extra excitement just because of West Point and the military academy. And, they draw a lot of fans. So we had two great crowds, as you know, in the building. The building was electric. The band on Friday night was unbelievable. The games themselves, obviously, were two very different games. Friday night was a big-time defensive battle between two teams that I thought played, very, very good defensively. And, great goaltending by Jimmy Sargent and the Army goaltender as well. So, and then Saturday was obviously very wide open, a 7-5 win by us, and probably a little bit too wide open for my liking. But again, like you said, positive in the sense that we did get the 4 points, and it's all about the points when you're in league play and standings and whatnot. And certainly there's a lot to be decided, but those 4 points may come back and really make a difference for us. So, we'll take our 4 points and we'll keep moving forward.
You mentioned Jimmy Sargent, his excellent performance on Friday night, struggled a bit on Saturday. You brought Spencer Bacon in the third period. Talk about the thought process of bringing Spencer in that kind of a situation.
Well, I think the thing for us, and really Greg Gardner was really the key to that. We just thought, and sometimes this happens, sometimes goaltenders fight the puck a little bit. And then sometimes also a goaltending change is just what you kind of need to kind of refocus your team, or maybe, if you would, wake your team back up. And, we don't really think that we played great this weekend. We don't think as a team that we had great urgency, great purpose. Again, we won and we're happy about that. But, Friday, going into the third period, they scored that quick goal to take the lead. Army did 5-4. And, I think Greg, being as talented and as savvy as he is, sensed something that, a goaltending change right now might really help us. And obviously, I think Greg's feel and his insight and whatnot proved to be right on. And Spencer did something that's very, very difficult for anybody, to come off a bench, by sitting around for a couple hours and come off the bench and get in there. And he faced 12 pretty good shots and obviously played great. And I think you could say that probably was the turning point of the game, because, like I said, we were down 5-4. Spencer goes in, and we tie it up 5-5. Ultimately, get the game winner and open net goal to win the hockey game.
And what does that do now for Spencer down the road? Does it provide you with some more confidence that, we can go to Spencer on any given night and he can make some big saves for us?
Well, there's no question. And, we've always liked Spencer. And, Jimmy was so dominant last year. It was very, very hard to get anybody else in besides Jimmy. And we like Brandon Wildung as well. But, hey, Jimmy's a proven commodity. He's the, defending player of the year in the Atlantic hockey. He's made a ton of saves for us. He's played great for us. And we have no doubt that Jimmy will continue to make a ton of saves and play great for us. And, we're not surprised that Spencer played well. And, we always talk about how we can get guys in games. And it's difficult when you only play, 34, 36 games, in a regular season situation. Last year was a little bit different, and we really couldn't get Spencer in because of the way Jimmy played, because we played a lot more games that were exempt. We went 2 to Alaska and 2 to Minnesota. So those were exempt games. We got 4 more games there. But, this year we've talked a lot every week, really, about how can we get Spencer into a game? How can we get Brandon Wildung into a game? And we haven't really been able to do that until one period here on Saturday, and it was a very big period. And Spencer obviously, played very, very, very well, and he didn't show us anything that we didn't know. We know he's a great goaltender. We know he's a great kid, and much like Jimmy 2 years ago, he probably just needs more of an opportunity.
One move you've made is shifting Ryan Misiak to the defense. Talk about how that's worked out for you. I thought he played fantastic this weekend.
Yeah, you know what? That's something that was talked about last year and was never done. And, at Colgate 2 weeks ago, we thought, it'd be interesting to finally try that on the Saturday. And as you know, we ended up winning a very big game at back when they were number 4 in the country. Now I think they're number 6. But a very, very big game. And, Ryan went back there, and I think he was a little bit nervous and whatnot, but he played great against Colgate. So we said, well, why not? And we used him against Army, and, he played very, very well, as you said. It's interesting as you take a forward and you put him back there, and, the way he gets the pucks and the way he handles the puck, the way he moves the puck, the way he sees the ice, and, he's pretty good defensively. So, it really has been kind of a seamless kind of thing. I still have a tough time thinking of Ryan as a defenseman because, he was always been a forward his whole career, but, he's done very well there. And again, that's something that Bobby Ferraris and Pete Aubrey started talking about last year. And then the three of us talked about it, and we never really got a chance to do it. And then it came up again here, like I said, after the Friday game at Colgate. Why not give this a chance and see what it's like? Decided to do it. And obviously, Ryan has done very well back there.
And it's, I was going to say it's certainly paid off, and it's kind of helped out your special teams a little bit too. You popped a couple power play goals against Army on Saturday. It looked a little better than it has in the first 6 games of the year.
Yeah, the power play is interesting. It's usually feast or famine. And it clearly has started off slowly. Like you said, we're encouraged by 2 power play goals here on Saturday against Army. A lot of it's been the kinds of teams we've played, the the venues we've played, and certainly the Army games here were a little bit different. But you went to Colgate for 2, you went to Air Force for 2, you had Merrimack twice here, but and a lot of it, as you know, and we've talked about, is the goaltending we've seen. Often your best goaltender or your best penalty killer is your goaltender. When Jimmy Sargent's playing well or Spencer Bacon's playing well, they're usually our best penalty killer. So we've seen some really good goaltending. When the power play's been out there. But again, we think that the power play is moving in the right direction. And I think what they really need is they need to continue to get some real good looks and hopefully continue to score some goals and build some confidence, and it'll be fine.
One more thing about the Army series before we look ahead to Bentley here this weekend. Kind of a nice scene at the end of both games during the handshake with Jack Riley and Dad Brian. Instead of giving the traditional handshake, the big embrace at center ice. Talk about the emotions that was going on through Jack's head this weekend.
Yeah, I think there was a lot. I think if you talk to him, I think you tell him it was no big deal, and I think if you talk to Brian, he would say it was no big deal. But I could tell you, I think it was a big deal. I think it was a big deal for both of them, and I think that quite frankly, it might have been a tough games to coach and play in. I think it might have been tough games for Brian to coach, and Brian's a great coach, and I thought Army played great. If I'm Brian Riley, I'm leaving Erie, disappointed. I don't have 4 points, but I'm not sure the better team won that weekend because I thought Army played great. And I could tell you, I think Jack thinks it was, would tell you it was no big deal, but I think it was. I think there was a lot going on. I think there was a lot to take in. I thought it was great that Mary Beth Riley, Brian's wife, and Jack's mom was in green and blue on the weekend. So, Brian was pretty sure that the dog was rooting for him, but he has no way to prove it. So, but no, I thought it was great, and I think you're going to see a similar case and a similar situation in a couple of weeks when we go back to West Point. And I think that's just a lot for both Brian and Jack to take in, and it makes the weekend a whole different feel.
Looking ahead to Bentley now this weekend, always a high-powered offense under head coach Ryan Soderquist. Talk about what you know about them.
Well, I could tell you they look like a very balanced scoring team, a very good team. Bentley is a very, very tough place to play. They're a very tough team to play against. I don't think they've given up a power play goal in league play this year. I think they're 18 for 18 on kills, so back to our power play. We need to find a way to be opportunistic there. And the scary part about them is I think they're 38% on their power play. So they've always had a great power play. They look like they might have the best power play they've ever had. So we're going to have to play a good disciplined game, stay out of the box. Obviously, penalties will occur. We're going to have to find a way to make sure we limit their opportunities and have very good goaltending, as always, and very good penalty killing, and have a chance to play our game. But I suspect it's going to be a very competitive weekend, and we have to go one shift at a time, and get off to a good start Friday, and hopefully build on that. and then set our sights, refocus for Saturday, and again get a good start and see what happens.
I'm assuming you're not looking at 2-0 games this weekend. More of a wide open like Saturday night's Army game.
Well, I'd prefer to play tight checking and low scoring, but we've proven, and again you go back to the weekend, we've proven we could play and be successful in any type of game. We have some high powered offensive guys as well, and we put a premium on trying to play good team defense, and that's not just goaltending. That's goaltenders, that's defensemen, that's forwards. Even coaches. From our philosophies and our systems and the things we try to do and teach, and get guys to understand. So we will certainly, we'll play any game that we need to. We try to score as much as we can, and we try to defend as hard as we can. So it's interesting the different complexions that games take on, and I wouldn't be surprised if you, knowing the two teams that are playing, the goaltenders that are playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see low scoring, and I wouldn't be surprised to see high scoring. So we'll have to stay tuned and see what happens.
Mustache is looking good, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you could see it. But this is our Movember, and the whole team is doing this, and we're raising some money for cancer, fighting cancer and whatnot. And it's a great cause, and it's one less thing I have to shave.
Not quite Greg Gardner's mustache yet, though.
He has a great mustache. I'm envious of his. Looking at his mustache, I'm almost embarrassed to even try to grow one, because he grew that mustache in like an hour.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It was crazy. So head coach Rick Gotkin of the Mercyhurst men's hockey program, they travel to Bentley this weekend to take on the Falcons in a 2-game series. Best of luck, Coach.
David, thank you for having me, and I appreciate all your support.